Hello, I am Jonah, a rising senior at SCR High School. And for my project, I built a 3D scanner, which uses my iPhone to scan images, compile the images, and convert that into an STL file, which could then be 3D printed. So it functions very similar to a photocopier, which scans a 2D piece of paper, and then could take that scan and make a 2D replica of the piece of paper, another piece of paper. So that's what this is doing, but just on a 3D scale. It takes a 360-degree video of the item and then compiles it. So the actual software to compile the images I didn't make, but all the software and hardware to take the video optimally I made. So I made a platform that could spin. So it will record it spinning and take a video from each angle, so you can watch this platform spin like this. It goes very slowly because it needs to take that very precise pictures and very clear pictures. So there's the spinning, and it can also raise and lower my phone to take different positions, and also tilt my phone to take different angles. So this is all controlled by a joystick, which I'll get into later in the video. And yeah, so how does this function? Well, for my first Milestone video, I created the turntable, just the hardware for it. So I 3D modeled and I made joints and gears and things for it to spin. And I had to keep in mind that I needed to have a stepper motor, which doesn't have tremendous torque, to be able to spin this. Then for my second milestone, I used a stepper motor to automate the spinning process and find the optimal speed to take the best pictures. And finally, for my third milestone, I created this whole mechanism to be able to raise and lower my camera and tilt my camera to take different angles. So a human wouldn't have to just hold the phone, because a human's hand would shake and create bad 3D images. So I'm going to get into what I did after that third milestone. So before, I had 6 buttons controlling all the motors, 2 for each motor to control counterclockwise and clockwise motion. Now I have a joystick and 1 button. And what the button does is it toggles between 2 joystick modes, and there's a light display here that tells you what mode you're on. Unfortunately, the video can't pick it up. But each of the 2 joystick modes have 4 different functions based on the direction of the joystick. So how did I code for that? The joystick is composed of 2 potentiometers, one x-axis one and one y-axis one. And I turned those potentiometers into a coordinate plane. And it converted all the motion of where my joystick was into a vector. And if the vector exceeded a certain magnitude and was pointing the closest to a certain point on the plane, that's how it carried out the action. So coding for that was complicated, but it was a lot of fun. And the biggest challenge I went into in this whole project was the actual hardware, because a lot of these items had to be positioned optimally for the gears to work, but B, to take the optimal video. And another thing, or issue I ran into, was that my servo motors, which control the tilt of my iPhone, kept burning out. And I didn't know why, because everything seemed fine when I ran diagnostics using voltage probes. And unfortunately, I didn't realize that I was plugging my servo into a non-PWM pin, which gave too long of a current, which would blow up my servo after a certain amount of time. So after a few weeks of looking around figuring out my problem, I ended up plugging my servo into a pin 9, which is a PWM pin, and now it works fine. So that's my project. I'm really happy I did it. I learned a lot, and there's on my website, I have a reflection and my bill of materials and a bunch of other things you guys could look at.